Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls from around the world, welcome to the Ramonepreston Show. This is the day that the Lord has made. We're already rejoicing and we're glad in it. Happy Thursday. Today is October the 12th, Thursday, 2023. It's a beautiful day here in the Buckhead community of Atlanta. Thank you for joining us today on the Ramonepreston Show. Do me a favor, hit the like button, the share button. How you doing, Shanida, I think? I know I'm tearing your name up, but good afternoon to all of you. God is so good. I'm super excited today because we're going to be talking about a very important topic that I think every entrepreneur needs to wrap their mind around. And that topic is about asset management, about acquiring assets, because I truly think that the next big wave for entrepreneurs is acquisitions, not just real estate acquisitions, not just business acquisitions, but acquisitions of so many different assets that you as an entrepreneur need to put yourself in a position to acquire. So before we get into today's show, please hit the like button, the share button. Put in the comments what city you're watching your boy from as well. Put in the comments what city you're watching us from. For those of you that are joining us on all social media platforms that we're streaming on, I want to say good afternoon. Happy Thursday. Welcome to the Ramonepreston Show. I'm your host, Ramonepreston. Every Monday through Friday, 12 o'clock noon Eastern Standard Time. Guess what I do? I show up here on this show to give you the game. My mission, this is a part of my ministry, is to help you take your business to the next level. I want to show you how to engineer a $1 million enterprise. What qualifies me to show you how to do that? Well, I've done it for myself. I work with a lot of people, showing them how to do it, and I want to show you how to do the same. So thank you for joining the show. Appreciate you all putting where you are watching us from in the comments. I see y'all over here on IG, Connecticut, Utah. Appreciate y'all for joining us. All of you that are watching us on YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, wherever you at, appreciate you. Thank you for joining the Ramonepreston Show. So today, I'm going to talk about the asset acquisition test. All right, the asset acquisition test. Now, here's what I want to establish very quickly. When I say asset acquisition, I'm not just talking about real estate. I ain't just talking about a business. I'm talking about any asset that you can accumulate or acquire and integrate into your business that can be monetized, or any asset that can increase your net worth and or your enterprise value. That's not just a piece of real estate or a business, although those two assets are very important, but there's so many other assets that our solopreneurs, our small business owners are overlooking. Now, just to make sure that you understand the importance of the asset acquisition test, why is testing what is or what is not an asset that you can acquire important? Why is that important? Well, here's why. You, as an individual or entrepreneur, you should, in a perfect world, have a holding company. I preach this all the time. Why should you have a holding company? Because you want to establish yourself with a structure that gives you the ultimate leverage, that gives you the flexibility, the freedom, and that positions you in a way that you can start practicing asset management. Because if you have a holding company or a parent company, let's say you have LLC number one, and that's the company that you own. Well, just by the fact that you create another LLC under the holding company, you are already essentially participating in asset management, because this LLC that's owned by this LLC that's owned by you, this one is an asset owned by an asset management company, and you are at the top participating in asset management. So even if you don't own real estate, even if you don't own other outside businesses, even if you ain't got trademarks and intellectual property and copyrights and all these other assets, the fact that you got two LLCs structured a specific way, it puts you in the running to becoming a better CEO, a better asset management. And I think within the next 3 to 5 years, we're going to see this explosion, this big wave of acquisitions. And I want you to already have your structure, your entity, your enterprise set up in a way that you can be a part of this asset transfer or this big wealth grab. All right. So this is important. We've already talked about that earlier this week. If you need more information about how to start and structure your holding company, we'll get to that another time. But just know you need to have the right entity set up. You need to structure your enterprise the right way so you can put yourself in the best position, because there's a wave right now. And that big wave is acquisitions. There's a whole generation of baby boomers. And even outside of baby boomers, it ain't just people who retiring from the workforce or the marketplace. It's just people who no longer want to stay on the hamster wheel of running a business or owning multiple companies or investing in real estate. People are moving on to other things. And you and I, if we out here in the marketplace hustling, grinding, rolling up our sleeves, looking for opportunities, if you have the right structure, especially when you have a holding company set up, it just makes it easier for you to see these assets that exist out here in the world, and you're able to integrate them into your ecosystem so that you can start making more money and ultimately increasing your net worth and your enterprise value. So does that make sense to everybody? Okay. I just wanted to establish that real quick. So today we're talking about the asset acquisition test. The asset acquisition test. Okay. The asset acquisition test. So remember, an asset is something that you can acquire, that you can monetize, that you can increase your enterprise value with and your net worth. I already explained to you that once you have your entity, your structure set up, now you need to start developing the eye to identify with things that can be considered assets. So you have to start accumulating these things that other people don't see as assets. One person's trash could be another person's treasure. So like I said, if a pen is an asset to a piece of paper, if a pen is an asset to a piece of paper, then whoever has the paper, they appreciate the pen more because they know it's an asset to the paper. But if you see the pen and you ain't got no paper and you don't know the value of the pen, you don't see it as an asset. So when it comes to accumulating assets, you got to start getting that eye to learn how to identify with things that can be considered assets. Most entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, small business owners, they got their hands in so much stuff and they don't see a lot of this stuff as assets. You got to start seeing these things as assets. Like, for example, I tell a lot of my students and clients and mentees that you have a whole lot of intellectual assets. You got ideas, you got strategies, you got wisdom, you know the game, you have certain ways of doing things, you have your own proprietary process of doing certain stuff. It could be something as simple as washing cars. Like there's a certain process you have for washing a car, but you never look at that process or those ideas as intellectual assets, so you never package them in a way that you can monetize that you can license it, that you can package it in another business and help other people create the same type of businesses with the same type of processes. So you miss out on monetizing your mind, you miss out on increasing your enterprise value, and you miss out on increasing your net worth just because you don't have the eye to accumulate assets. And then once you accumulate those assets, remember what I said earlier this week. You got to learn how to integrate them. So that means you got to make sure that you're properly positioning them where they're supposed to be inside of your ecosystem. Some things don't need to be owned by your holding company. Some things need to be owned by a separate LLC or subsidiary. Some things may need to be owned by a trust. But whatever the case is, accumulation it precedes integration. And then once you get to the integration phase, now you go to valuation. The reason why a lot of these tech companies and these Wall Street private equity groups give these companies massive valuations is because they are going through similar processes of what I'm talking about, even though they are more sophisticated. But what I'm trying to get small business owners, my people, all y'all that's out here grinding and scrapping like we always do, I'm trying to get you to see you can do this on a small level with just a couple LLCs if you structure them right. And you can do it just with the business activities that you doing every day anyway. Like if you're an entrepreneur like me, you got 1,000 things going on. Your mind be all over the place. You the CEO, you the marketer, you the salesperson, you the PR person, you the administrator, you do everything. But a lot of the things that you're doing get convoluted and they get cluttered and you don't see all the assets in there. So it's about accumulating assets, integrating them into your business, and then valuating them so that you can have more purchasing power and more flexibility to parlay in the marketplace. Okay? So again, when it comes to the asset acquisition test, there are certain questions you want to ask. All right? So when you're looking at things to see, is this an asset? Can this be an asset? You want to take it through the asset acquisition test. I'm only going to give you a couple questions because I have a whole list of questions that you need to consider. And again, a lot of this I have in courses and I have it in my mentorship programs. I do workshops and boot camps on all this stuff. Of course, I can't talk about everything over the course of 30 minutes on a show. So when it comes to the asset acquisition test, I want to give you at least three of the many questions that you need to ask. So the first question you want to ask is, does this asset, this item that you identified with, does it have the potential to monetize? That's the key word. Does it have the potential to monetize? So if there's something that you're identifying as an asset and you want to put it through the acquisition test to see, should I acquire this thing? Should I bring this thing into the ecosystem of my business? Should I invest in this? The acquisition test is going to require you to ask, does it have the potential to monetize? Another word for monetization for all of you real estate minded people is, can I cash flow whatever this thing is? Cash is not king. Cash flow is king. So you want to look at the asset that you're acquiring and you want to ask that question. Does it have the potential to monetize? Can I make money off of this? So for example, I know people who want to go get 22 trademarks. Okay, you could go get 22 trademarks, but do those trademarks have the potential to monetize? And if they do have the potential to monetize, how soon can they monetize? Because I know people right now, I own a lot of trademarks. I got copyrights, I got publishing, I got a whole bunch of assets. But some of these things might make you money and they may not make you money. They may increase your enterprise value, but that's another aspect. We want to ask the first question, does it cash flow? Can I make money off this thing? Can it help me get off the hamster wheel? You get what I'm saying? Whether it's passive income or residual income, can I monetize this asset that I'm thinking about acquiring? That's question number one. Question number two is, does it assist in increasing my enterprise value? So now I need to look at enterprise value, or another way of putting it, my company's net worth. So if there's a certain asset, I don't care if it's something I'm buying for my business. I don't care if it's an investment I'm making. I don't care what it is. If I look at it as a deduction or an expense, I want to look at the asset that I'm thinking about acquiring, whether I'm looking at it just as an expense or a business deduction. Does this asset, number one, have the potential to monetize? Does it give me an opportunity to create some cash flow? Do I have that potential? And if I do, how soon? Because a lot of entrepreneurs, they put so much time and effort behind all this stuff that they be putting money in, and it ain't monetizing. It ain't making no cash flow. So yes, you have to make investments for the future, but you also got to make investments for the now. You got to pay the bills today. That's what a lot of people that get into investing don't understand. So they try to get into investing, and then they invest in things that may have a decent ROI or return on investment, but the return is so slow. By the time they get all their money back, they done went bankrupt because they couldn't pay the bills during that process, during that waiting period. So you always want to make sure you ask that critical question with the asset acquisition test. Does it have the potential to monetize? And number two, does it assist me in increasing my enterprise value or my company's net worth? So there are some assets that will monetize today. There may be assets that monetize tomorrow or a year from now, but I want to make sure when I test these assets that I'm looking to acquire, can I monetize it? Does it cash flow? And does it assist me in increasing my enterprise value? Because maybe there are certain assets you can acquire that might not monetize or cash flow right now, but because they increase your enterprise value, then that gives you the ability to leverage that new value to create more cash flow opportunities in the current time. Does that make sense? So I'm gonna give you one more question. And again, today's show, I'm talking about the asset acquisition test. Questions you need to ask when you are looking to acquire assets, not just real estate, not just business, but when you're looking to invest in creating trademarks or getting buying platforms, or when you're looking to transfer certain assets to your business or leverage your credit personally or guarantee yourself on a loan, whatever those things are, you still want to look at these things as assets that you want to acquire for your business, and you want to take it through a vetting process, a test, okay? Third question, does this asset or potential asset fit the criteria for a division or a subsidiary? Okay, so is it an asset that needs to be a part of my division, or is it an asset that needs to be a separate subsidiary? Okay, so for example, I have trademarks. Like I said earlier, I have copyrights. I have intellectual property. Those are all assets that have the potential to monetize. Mine actually monetizes, and these assets increase my enterprise value because some of these assets that I have, like trademarks and my intellectual property, I actually have licensing agreements so that people who use them or make money from them, we have an agreement that they can use it and I get paid for them to use it. So my point is, it cash flow and it also gives me a greater value. So my point is, those are intellectual assets. I don't necessarily have to have them in a separate subsidiary. I can just have them under my asset management company, my holding company, and I can use them as divisions. They're just items that my holding company holds. But let's say if it was a piece of real estate, let's say if it was a big piece of equipment that I leased out, let's say if it was a car or vehicles that I'm touring or something like that, would I put that in my holding company or would I put it in a separate LLC? Well, I'll probably put those in a separate LLC, meaning that this asset needs to be integrated into a separate subsidiary. So these are certain questions that you have to ask. I just went over 3 questions, but this is a big deal. These are things that I'm really hammering with my mentees and my students who are inside of our community, because I want everybody, all of you, to get prepared for this next big wave that I think is going to be acquisitions that entrepreneurs participate in. And you ain't got to be a private equity group. You ain't got to have big pockets. You ain't got to have money longer than 75 or 95. You need the knowledge. You need this knowledge. You need the information. The knowledge is the power. That's going to be your biggest leverage, okay? So if you have any questions, I want you to put the questions in the comments. We'll do our best to come back and answer those questions. Iceman asked the question over here on IG, how would you go about leveraging credit? I'm not 100% clear on the question, but if I took a shot at answering it, I would say if you're talking about leveraging your personal credit, it could just be you being the personal guarantor for your business. Like when I first started my business, I've been an entrepreneur for 20 years. So most of the stuff people are talking about on the internet, I'm not being cocky, but I used to do that stuff 20 years ago. You know what I mean? Like I've done it all. I've had hard money loans, merchant accounts, ACH draft loans. I've had bank loans. I've had credit lines. I've had credit cards. I've done it all. So, you know, I'm not saying I'm the credit expert. I don't claim to be. I don't know a lot about the credit stuff like a lot of people do. But if I just had to give you some answer on the question, how would you go about leveraging credit? I would assume you're referring to if you have personal credit, how do you leverage that? Well, a lot of times, if you're trying to get credit for your business and they want a personal guarantor, you just have to leverage your personal credit for the business to get credit. If the business still doesn't get qualified, even with you guaranteeing, then you just have to get personal credit and you got to lend that credit to your business. That's it. You lend the credit to your business. So if that's a personal credit card, you lend that personal credit card to your business. That's how you leverage it. Other than that, I'm not sure if I understand any other question. I'm not sure if I understand the question in depth, but again, I'm not a credit expert. I'm really more of a structure, system, financial tax strategy type of consultant. I want you to engineer the right structure. I want you to have the right systems and processes. I want you to work on your products and your services and your skill set to sell and market those products and services. And I want you to learn to become a better business owner, how to run that organization, and how to start utilizing strategies like asset management to accumulate more assets. That's where my strong suit is. Let's see here. L. Stevens said, potential to monetize and how soon? Does it increase? That's right. Exactly. Hey, Lula, good afternoon to you. Iceman, in your personal opinion, if you could restart from zero, what would you consider the most efficient steps to success? Oh my God, bro, that's a good question. If I had to start from scratch, what would I consider to be the most efficient steps to success? I would say if I'm just scrapping it out and I don't have no brand, I don't have no social media presence, so marketing is not a thing, I would have to focus on the main thing. Come on, baby. I would have to focus on the main thing. Sales. That's it. I would just be focusing on selling. If I had to scrap it out from zero with no brand, no marketing, no social media presence, nobody don't know me, I would just either take an idea that I have, I would turn that idea into a product and or a service. Either one, it could be physical or digital or both. And I would look and see, with this product and service that I have an idea to sell, I would look to see if I own it. That means I'm going to create the product myself or provide the service myself, or I'm going to use somebody else's. So that means if I have an idea for a product, either I'm going to create it and own it, or I'm going to find somebody that already has it and I'm going to use theirs and I'm going to make money off theirs. And then the next thing I'm going to do is make a sale, point blank period. If it was me starting from scratch, that's what I would be doing. Now, once I start making sales, I'll build my business. I'll set up my holding company. I'll start working on my brand, and I'll start working on my marketing and my messaging, and I'll start getting better at sales, meaning that I want to make sure I got a CRM. I want to make sure that I got a sales script and I have a sales process so I can become a professional salesperson and help people do more business with me. So that's what I would do if I was starting from scratch. I wouldn't be focusing on nothing else. A lot of entrepreneurs make the mistake of, man, I ain't finna do nothing. I ain't finna sell nothing. I ain't saying that's you, Iceman, but I'm talking about a lot of entrepreneurs I talk to. They get so focused on trying to get a loan. Don't worry about getting no loan. Get a doggone sale. Don't worry about a loan. Get a sale. If you get more sales, you'll need less loans. It's just as simple as that. Iceman asks, C Corp or S Corp do you recommend? I'm not a tax person. I'm not a lawyer. But if I have to just go on my own experience as an entrepreneur who works with these people and who's done it enough times, even though we do set up LLCs for people, I would say just start an LLC. And your LLC can be treated like a S Corp or a C Corp depending on how much money you're making and depending on what your tax person thinks is best when you go to them. But at first, if you start an LLC, it's just a single member LLC. It's like a disregarded entity. And you go to your tax person and your tax person say, oh man, you crushing it. You made 80 grand and you might make 80 more before the year is out. When we do your taxes next year, we're going to treat it as an S Corp and we're going to put you on salary. They'll make that decision. A lot of that stuff is for the tax people. But if you're just doing it yourself, I would say just start the LLC to protect yourself, to limit your own personal liability so you can run all your business activities through the LLC. And as far as how it's treated for tax purposes, let the tax person do that. They the ones that know that stuff. We don't need to know all that stuff. We need to stay focused and be entrepreneurs and CEOs. So anyway, for all of you that are watching, if you do not have this information, if you don't have courses and coaching and a community that you are a part of that teaches you principles on how to start and structure holding companies, principles for creative tax strategies, principles for integrating the right systems and processes, principles to show you how to actually become an asset manager and get better at acquisitions. I teach all this stuff in my courses. I provide the coaching and the consulting in my mentorship programs. So I want you to reach out to us today. We have a Millionaire Mentorship program. This program I put together because I wanted to take at least 1 year to work with people who want to engineer million-dollar businesses. That's why I call it a Millionaire Mentorship program. And the way we do this is we take a year, we give you 1 year access to our Millionaire Blueprint. This is a blueprint. This is the educational blueprint to show you how to engineer a million-dollar business, from starting your holding company all the way to sales, to scripts, to marketing, to systems, to QuickBooks, to having a general operating system, to real estate investing, everything in between. We show you how to engineer it. So we give you 1 year access to our Millionaire Blueprint. We give you VIP tickets to all 4 of our quarterly workshops. So every quarter we host a 1-day in-person and virtual deep dive to teach you and train you on the nuts and bolts of sales and marketing, financial systems, general operating systems, and holding companies. So you get VIP tickets to all of our 1-day workshops. You also get a VIP ticket to our coaching boot camp. So if you want to take your intellectual assets and become a consultant and provide those services to people, we show you how to build a legitimate coaching and consulting business. We also offer you weekly coaching calls. Every Monday night at 7:00 p.m., we have an exclusive private Zoom call where I do a deep dive on certain subjects. We answer questions, we hear testimonies, we create a community to keep people moving forward in this million-dollar business that they're engineering. We also have concierges. These are people who are always available to our mentees. You can text them, call them, email them any day of the week to get a response, especially when you have questions. If you're working on something, you glitch and you need help, we're always available for you. So this is our Millionaire Mentorship program. It's a 1-year accelerated coaching and consulting program made up of the best education, the best workshops, boot camps, community, coaching and support that me and my team provide for you. This 1-year coaching program is $3,500 for the entire year. You can Google and look at other coaching programs that provide this type of information. You're probably not going to find one that offers it for $3,500 for an entire year. What we've added to this offer is when you join our program, if you choose to pay the $3,500 up front in full, we also add one free LLC. So that means we will set up a free LLC for you. We will file and form your paperwork, draft your operating agreement for either a holding company LLC or a operating company LLC, and we will deliver it to you. And not only will we do that LLC for you, but we will offer you a free coaching session, either Zoom or in person, where we take about an hour or so, and we just do a deep dive into what you want to accomplish. What type of financial goals you have? What type of infrastructure do you need? What type of ideas do you have that you can convert to products and services? Do you have them priced and packaged right? We look at your systems and processes. If you don't have them, we show you where you need to start, and then we set you on a course inside of our educational programs and our workshops so that you could start engineering that $1 million business. So these two additional bonuses are only for anyone who pays for the entire program for the year in full. If you cannot pay it in full and you need a payment plan option, even though we do not offer these two with the payment plan option, but we will give you a payment plan option so that you can have access to the program, start training, get on our coaching calls every week, join us for our workshops, and engineer $1 million business. So if you're interested in this program, or you want to know more about the payment plans, or you just have questions about where you need to start because you don't know where to get started, I want you to look in the comments, and our concierge are going to put a number in the comments with the word mentor. All you have to do is text the word mentor to that number you see, and we will reach right back out to you, answer any question you have, and hopefully we can get you signed up and onboarded today so that you can start training. And if you pay it in full, we'll start setting up your LLC. We'll schedule your one-on-one coaching call, and we will direct you to what courses you need to start on today when you get onboarded. The process of onboarding is probably less than 30 minutes. We can have you set up, onboarded, with access to our university training program with all of our courses, videos, documents, forms, the dates for all of our workshops. We'll get you set up immediately. So look in the comments, take the number with the word mentor that you see, and text mentor to that number, and we'll be more than happy to reach back out to you and answer any question that you might have. So I appreciate you all. Thank y'all for joining the show today. I hope there was something that you heard that got your attention, that gave you value, that showed you the potential and the possibility of what you can do if you get the knowledge. If you get around the right people and get the right knowledge, you can do anything. All right. So thank you all so much for joining the show. One last reminder. We have almost 9,500 subscribers on YouTube. We want to get to 10,000 subscribers. Okay. If you would be so kind, whether you're watching from YouTube or not, when you see this video, if you would be so kind, even if you don't text mentor to the number you see in the comments, even if you don't want to do business with us, if you would be so kind, please subscribe to my YouTube page. Help us get to 10,000 subscribers. We've been working very hard to create content on a regular basis for at least the last 3 to 4 years. I think on our YouTube page alone, we probably have about 3,300 videos. A lot of those videos are videos that have so much valuable information in them. Most people that even join our programs or purchase products or services from us, they tell me and my team all the time, man, you give away so much stuff for free. Your YouTube page is like a university. Only for them to find out that even though we have so much information for free on our YouTube page, there's still another world of information inside of our Millionaire Blueprint that has never hit the general public. So we appreciate you watching the show, following, leaving comments, give us takeaways, but definitely be sure to subscribe to my YouTube page, click the notification bell, and follow me on all platforms at Ramonepreston. That's at Ramonepreston. You can find me on any platform. Love y'all, appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for joining the show. We will be back here tomorrow Friday, same place, same time, 12 o'clock noon, right here, y'all, on the Ramon Preston